You are welcome to another episode of Technical Drawing. I will be drawing the isometric drawing of that picture on the screen. Okay, so first thing you need to do is try to draw a reference line, which is refers to as an horizontal line. Now, from this reference line, you can pick a point. It does not. You can pick it anywhere. You can pick it here. You can pick it here. Just pick a point. Now, from that point, you need to draw. We need to draw two lines out. Position your ruler very well. Can you see that? Don't position your ruler like this. Can you see that the distance from here to here is different from here to here? Okay, the distance from here to here is bigger than the distance from here to here. So just try to make sure that you position your ruler very well. Okay, please. That is very important to make your work accurate. And if you are not using, if you are using T-square, that is also fine. Okay, so let's draw out two lines, because if you check this the if you check the isometry, you see that there's a line here measured at 30 millimeters, and there's another line at the down. I'm referring to the one at the down, and there's another line to the left measured at what? At measured 40 millimeters. Okay, so let's draw out two lines from that point. Let's draw two lines from that point. Okay, make it a construction line. I hope you can see that. Then draw another line here. So we use our 30-degree set square, because whenever we are working with isometric, we usually use what? 30 degree. We usually use what? 30 degree. All right. So let's do that. All right. Then you will see that from the down part, you see that there's a distance from here to here, a measurement, which is 30 millimeters. So let's measure that. 30 millimeters. Now you can see 30 millimeters there. This is 30 millimeters, so we can make it bold. Okay. All right, this is 30 millimeters, and to the left is measured at what? 40 millimeters. Okay. Okay. So that's 40 millimeters. But you notice that from the end of this 30 millimeters, a straight line went up. From the end of this 40 millimeters, a straight line do what? Went up. So let's draw those two lines. Okay. So let's draw those two lines. Make it a construction line. And from here, so you see that the distance from here to the height, the height of this line is given as 60 millimeters. So let's try to measure out 60 millimeters. Okay. Now you see that we leave these ones, they are construction lines. They are construction lines. So the parts that we need are those parts that are what? That are bold. You can see them. Okay. So then from here, the measurement is given to be what? 20 millimeters. Okay, then you can also see that from this point there's a straight line that went up. We also measure 20 millimeters, is the same measurement from here to here, and then we connect them what? Together. So let's do that. So let's measure 20 millimeters. Then we connect them together. Okay, then you can see that from this point a certain line went like this, and from this same point a certain line do what? Went like this, but the measurement was not given. The measurement was not given, but we can get the measurement. So let's try to use another method too. So let's draw those two lines out first. We will not measure it, we are going to leave it like that. Let's just try to draw them out first. Okay, so come here. Okay, then you see that from here is two lines came out, one like this and one straight inward like this. Okay, so let's try to draw those two lines. One came inward like this, and the other one, like this. So the distance from ear to ear is given to be somewhere from ear to ear, which is 10 millimeters. So let's do that. So the distance from ear to ear is given to be the same distance from ear to ear, that is from ear to ear, which is what, 40 millimeters. So let's do that. Let's measure 40 millimeters. Okay, then you see that from this same point, you see that a line came inward like this. Okay, so let's try to draw that line. Then from that line, we could see that there's a measurement from here to here, which is 10, then connected to this. So let's do that. Connect it with this. Then we could see that from this line, a certain line came inward like this, and there's another line straight downward like this. Okay, one came inward like this, and one came inward like this. And from here to a certain line came inward like this. So how we are going to do it is that I'm going to draw a line that came down like this, and a line that came down like this. I will draw those two first before I draw this. Okay, so let's try to draw those two. Before we draw those two lines, let's measure the distance from here to here, which is what, 10 millimeters. That's under 10 millimeters. Okay, so that is it. So from this point, I will draw a straight line, a line downward. So from this point, let's draw a line downward. Okay, now we can see that the distance from, you see a line from ear to ear, so I will make it bold, and from ear to ear I will make it bold. Then I will draw this line, I will make it bold. From ear to ear I will also make it bold. So let's do that. So let's draw this one and make it bold. Can you see where they meet? Okay, then for me to draw those two lines, then I will need to measure from ear to ear. First of all, let me connect this. You see that there's a line that connects this and this together. So let's try to connect them together. Since we have connected them together, so to draw the other line, I will need the distance from here to here is the same distance from here to here, which is what, 10 millimeters. So let's measure 10 millimeters here. So this is 10 millimeters. So let's connect them together. All right. Then one more thing to do is to join these 2 points together. Good. With this, we have done with the drawings. You can then try to dimension the work. Thank you very much for watching. And please do well to share, recommend this channel with your friend. Okay? Thank you.